Hey, what's up you guys? Again, it's Kevin Schmidt, physical therapist, bike fitter out here in beautiful Portland, Oregon at Pedal PT. Had somebody reach out to me asking a little bit about the Q factor. What is the Q factor? Why is it important? What should I know about it? Well, in the grand scheme of things, the Q factor is basically just your width of stance or how far away your feet are. If your feet are in closer to the pedals, further out on the pedals. And a lot of that has to do more so with your cleat position would be one. Number two would just be what type of crank that you're running. Certain cranks tend to be a little bit wider. If you have a little bit wider bottom bracket, like a fat bike per se, that would be a very large Q factor. Your feet would be out quite a bit further as well. Also, what can also kind of influence that would be also the number of chain rings that you have in the front. So, you know, a single speed or a 1x system in a lot of the gravel bikes would be a little narrower width of stance, therefore a more narrow Q angle. If you're having a double chain ring or a triple chain ring, that would be something that would bring your feet out a little bit wider. Well, when does this become important? Well, a lot of times this comes down to how your knees are tracking. A lot of times it has to do with knee sensation. So if you imagine, if we take a very small individual, let's say you take a small gal with a very narrow pelvis, very petite, and we put her on a fat bike. So very wide, feet are way out apart. The knees tend to collapse inwards. Just because you're out so wide with your feet, your knees will kind of buckle inwards. In the PT world, we call that valgus, where the knee is buckling inwards like that. A lot of times that can put or has the possibility of putting more stress kind of on the medial side of that knee, those ligaments in there as well. So if you're a smaller person riding a triple chain ring or a fat bike or something that has a lot of width of stance to that or large Q angle, you might consider bringing in those cleats to allow your feet to be a little bit closer in. Also, if you've got, let's say, a triple chain ring and you're also wearing an SPD or a clipless system that has a large platform underneath it, that's also gonna bring your feet quite a bit further out. The further out you are, the greater chance of those knees wanting to buckle in as we're pedaling up and down, and that can lead, like I said, more so inside or medial knee pain. Now, vice versa, let's take someone who's a larger individual, a bigger guy, wider pelvis, maybe a bigger abdominal girth. If they're on a 1x system or a single speed, a lot of times their feet are gonna be quite a bit narrow, which is gonna cause their knees to kind of go off at kind of like a V if you're watching them from the front. Now, we would want to then possibly maximize the width of stance with the cleats. There is also other things that you can get third-party equipment called pedal extenders that actually will kind of bring the pedal out even further out. So it kind of just, you have to judge. Now, if you're too tight on that former example that I'm referring to with the larger gentleman, if your feet are in too close, your knees go out to the side, a lot of times this is a cause of sometimes hip pain, back pain, and also IT band pain if you're a little too narrow Q angle or width of stance when you're pedaling. So those would be kind of your major considerations with regards to Q angle. I oftentimes think that a lot of the bike fitters, they use lasers and things, and it's all about keeping this knee at a very vertical angle, or as you're pedaling very straight, and they're putting wedges and things to control that you're straight. I'm not sure how important that is a lot of times. Most of us, our knees have a general angle just when we're at rest. Maybe a type of valgus or a type of varus. I'm actually a little bow-legged. So by starting to come to the feet and have to move this thing around to change what your anatomy normally wants to track like, to me sometimes seems unnecessary to achieve pain-free cycling. As long as we take care of width of stance, saddle height, a lot of times this goal of getting lasers, getting the knee tracking straight, I'm not sure how necessary that is for symptom alleviation and maximizing of efficiency. Again, just my personal opinion from experience of seeing thousands and thousands of cyclists. So anyway, if you have questions about any of that stuff that we talked about with regards to Q angle, width of stance, please feel free to drop some questions below. Always happy to help you with those. Otherwise, if you found any value to any of this information, please click like and consider subscribing. It's your questions that keep this channel going, so please keep them coming. Again, Kevin Schmidt, physical therapist out here in Pedal PT in Portland, Oregon. Have a great day, guys. We'll see ya. Peace.